Hello, this is Jesse Oakley III, and welcome to the Oak Zone with Jesse Oakley III. Today is Sunday morning, and it's time for the Sunday Morning Chat Series. And here I get to interview a plethora of positive people that are making a big difference in our community. And today, we got ourselves one fantastic show for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on a very interesting topic. And once I met this lovely lady and what she's doing for the community, I was in awe. I was amazed. And I thought to myself, you know what? This is one good person to have on your show, Jesse. Go ahead and ask her to be on the show. And guess what? She's here. And it gives me great pleasure to actually introduce. She authored a book, which is called Prison, the Hidden Sentence, right here. So please help me welcome none other than the one, the only, Miss Julia Lazareck. Hey, Julia, how's it going?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
All right. And thank you for being here on the Sunday Morning Chat Series. And without further delay, let's chat. Now, could you give us a description on your book, Prison, the Hidden Sentence, and what is going to discuss? What's this all about?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And Prison, the Hidden Sentence is a much needed book for anybody that has somebody that's in the prison system, but also for people who don't really know much about it. Because when you get that call that your loved one has been arrested, what do you do? Where do you go? Who do you talk to? What are your rights? There's so many things that the general public doesn't know. And this book is to help those people and also those that have somebody that's incarcerated or somebody that's going through the process from arrest to the trial to visitation to them coming home and how they take care of themselves. It really walks them through the whole process. And it's everything that I learned when my brother was incarcerated, because when he was incarcerated, there were so many things that my family and I didn't know. And there's so many things that I wish I knew. So this book contains everything that I've learned, everything I wish I knew. It's a little bit about my story, other people's stories, and a lot of helpful information for everybody. At the end of each chapter, there's a list of things that you need to know at each phase of the prison process, from the arrest until the trial, going to court, visitation, what is that like, and how to take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of anybody else?
That's true. That's very true. Now, you mentioned that your brother was in prison, and now you have this wonderful book that's here. Could you give us the inspiration on why you want to write this book?
It was a journey, and my brother actually passed away in prison from hepatitis C. And after he passed, and I started telling people, because when he was incarcerated, there's people out there, like thousands of people that have a loved one that's incarcerated. They don't tell anybody. They don't talk about it because they have shame. Or what I've learned is that we just don't want people to think badly about our loved ones. And after he passed, and I started telling people slowly that he had been incarcerated, I found out that there was a lot of people out there that had somebody that was incarcerated. And it wasn't until I started talking about it that they opened up. And I realized that I didn't want them to feel like I did going through it alone. So it was after I started receiving compassion after my brother passed, right? Because that's something that people understand. Incarceration isn't something that a lot of people understand or have empathy and compassion for. So we want to close that empathy gap. So it's going back to your question. It was after he passed, and I look back on the 15 years that he was incarcerated, and I realized that I was serving the sentence with him. And that's what I call the hidden sentence. The only difference is I was serving the sentence on the outside. It was really hard to enjoy life when I knew my loved one was sitting in a prison behind bars. And there was a lot of things that I didn't do. And there was a lot of depression and shame and, keeping things inside during those years. So it was really after he passed and starting to speak to people that I realized that this information had to get out there, that we had to raise awareness and we had to provide the information for people so that they knew what to do, what their rights are, and things that they can do when certain things happen. Because there's certain things that happen when somebody's incarcerated that you don't know about. what if you go to visit your loved one and there's a lockdown? Well, have
Mhm.
you ever heard of that before? And if the prison's locked down, you can't see your loved one. And what if they're hours away, or even if you had to fly there? So it's all of this information to help you prepare for all the phases that you'll go through.
All right. It's truly fantastic. Now, when it comes to writing this book, what were some of the challenges that you faced in writing from the first page to the last page?
Well, I did have help going through it with a team that have written books before. So they guided me through the process, which I think was really helpful. And it it was really going through the process of what I went through. And that's what helped me write the book. It was like, well, what happened in the beginning? And I wanted to personalize my brother, our childhood that we had, well, whatever normal is, but a pretty normal childhood. And to give some insight into that, and that how when we we found out that he was being arrested, how that affected our whole family. It's not doesn't just affect the person that is arrested or incarcerated. It affects their whole family, their loved ones, their friends, their work, their community, everybody around them. And I wanted to bring light to that it's not just one person when somebody goes through the prison system.
That's true. Now, when it comes to actually writing this book and becoming an author, what were some of the best moments that you experienced in writing and authoring this book?
Well, I think when anybody writes, especially if it's pretty much nonfiction, that you have to search deep for what you want to say and what you want to share. And especially keeping everything inside for so many years, it was challenging to tell the story, going through the story. And I think that was the challenging part, but it's also liberating to tell your story and knowing that it's going to help people. And I think the best part for me was putting together at the end of each chapter a list of things that I just thought was so important that I wish I knew, that's going to help so many people just by going to the end of each chapter and saying, oh, well, these are things I need to know if somebody was arrested. Oh, these are things I need to know when they go to court. Oh, these are things I need to know for visitation, because there's so many things you need to know. And then how do you take care of yourself? So I just went through the process of what I went through and speaking to other people, because I started a blog before I wrote the book. So I had spoken to hundreds of people, from the blog, just from talking to other people in support groups. Maybe we can touch on support groups in a bit, and just sharing that information and knowing that it's going to help so many people.
All right. Now, let's say that you meet a person and they have either a relative that's in prison right now and they are bind up in what to say or how to express how they're feeling, and they look to you as an inspiration because you wrote the book, you had to experience yourself, and they want to express their words as well. If you could give advice for this type of person on expressing your words through the book and through a different situation, what advice would you give that person?
Well, I think it's twofold. The person that has a loved one that is in the prison system going through the process, that they find safe people, a safe group, and to be able to talk about it. There's support groups out there. There's Prison Families Alliance, which I'm affiliated with, and other groups too, where they can join online, or there's some local groups too, but they can join groups and talk to other people to get it out and to learn from other people what they've been through, but also to get advice, because sometimes there's situations with their loved one. So I think a lot of people are afraid to tell their work or their friends about it. So start off slowly, with people that you really trust, because you might find that you might tell a really good friend and they might distance from you. And don't take it personal. I mean, it's something that this other person hasn't been through or they don't understand. So I think finding a safe group is the best thing that you can do. If it's really traumatic, getting professional assistance is, there's no shame in that, to help you work with your feelings or whatever you're going through. And also to keep your relationship with your loved one that is going through what they're going through, because they're going through something else, a different kind of trauma through the prison system. So it's keeping that communication, learning how to communicate, setting boundaries, learning how to set boundaries, and being able to talk about it. And I also wanted to address the other side of it, that if you know somebody that has a loved one that was arrested or is incarcerated, the first thing that most people say is, well, what are they in for? What did they do? Right.
Mm,
And I think there's more compassionate things that you can say, like, how is so and so doing? How are you doing? When was the last time you saw them? And just to say more caring things, because we like to focus on who the person is. It's who they are, not what they did, right? It's just something that happened. And who, I mean, who can cast the first stone, right? I'm sure all
exactly.
of us have done something that we're not proud of, or that could have gotten us into a situation, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I think from both ends, just to have more compassion, and for people going through it, just to have more compassion for yourself.
Exactly. Excellent point. A very excellent point. Now, I see the website above. Now, for people
Mhm.
that know more, do they just go to that website right there?
Prison the Hidden Sentence has the book on it, of course, but it also has my podcast. And we're in our second season. And there's interviews from people that have had loved ones that were incarcerated, professionals that work with people who have loved ones that are incarcerated, people that have been incarcerated, people in law enforcement, and people telling their stories and giving really good advice and information. So you'll hear people's stories, what they're going through, what they've done to improve things, how they've handled different situations. And we always end each podcast with helpful information. So yeah, thank you. There's just, these people are so amazing that I've spoken to, and some of the stories are just so heartwarming. And there's a couple for people who have for children who have an incarcerated parent or a family member, because the children a lot of times, I don't want to compare it to a divorce, but when there's a divorce, sometimes the kid feels guilty
Right.
or shame, or there's something they had to do with it, and you've got to let them know that they're not responsible for what their family or family member or parent was convicted of or accused of. So it's just really important to uh, to learn how to work with kids. And the Prison Families Alliance support group also has a support group for kids, so that they can get together and talk kid to kid with a facilitator on how to work through setting boundaries, how to empower them, how to handle bullying, how to talk about it. So there's a lot of things, a lot of information there.
All right. And for those people, yes, you see it right there in the back. That is hard to miss, but do not fret. I'm going to add a link. I'm going to add a link in the description below. So once you're done watching this interview, you can actually click on the link below and it'll take you to the website prisonthehiddensentence.com. All right. Now, time flies when you're having a whole lot of fun. And it is amazing and informative that we actually do this type of interview for all the happy people out there. Now, the next portion of our interview is called the shout out portion. And if you'd like to give a shout out to anybody for making this possible, who would you like to give a shout out to?
I think a lot of what I do right now is speaking and talking to different groups, talking at conferences, and Toastmasters has really helped me a lot with that, so that I can practice in a safe place with safe people. And I just want to recommend that for anybody. We're starting another Toastmasters group for formerly incarcerated and family members so that they can have a voice and talk in a safe place for things that we all understand. Also, there's so many people. My husband, of course, who supported me. He's visited me with my, visited me when I went to visit my brother, something that was new to him, and he learned a lot and supported me through the whole thing. And just writing the book, and supporting everything that I do, and my friends, everybody in Prison Families Alliance that just come together and are making the world a better place by supporting their loved ones, by supporting themselves, and raising awareness in the community. And also, there's so many that the International Prisoners Family Conference is a yearly event where I've met a lot of people who have helped me understand the prison system, helped me get out of my shell, tell my story, because I met so many other people that were involved with it.
All right. These are some amazing people. And it goes to show you it takes a whole team to get this all possible. Now, I have one more question for you. And this will be directed to my people and my crew, which is known as the Happy People. They are amazed and they are inspired and they are at awe with the story and the journey that you went through, especially in creating this book. If you can offer one more solid words of wisdom to my people, my crew, the Happy People, what would it be?
To all the happy people, it's really important that no matter what you're going through, that you talk about it, that you find safe people, a safe group, and whatever it is that you're keeping inside, to get it out, because that's going to keep you healthy so that you can take care of others. And also how important it is to keep the prison family together, those on the inside and those on the outside, because once somebody finishes their sentence and they come home, when we keep the prison family together, it just makes the person coming out and the family more successful in reentry, and people can be contributing citizens to society. So I'd say have an open mind. Everybody's been through something. So be open, have compassion, and just be happy, because life is good, right? And we learn from what we've been through. I mean, if I hadn't have gone through this with my brother, would I be doing this? No. But have I learned from it? Has it made me a better person? Yes. So whatever you're going through, look at it as a journey, and you'll come out the other side a better, wiser person.
Excellent words to end this wonderful interview. And on behalf of all the happy people that are watching this, Julia, I'd like to take this time to thank you for being on the Oak Zone Sunday Morning Chat Series.
Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, if anybody has any questions or is going through it, prisonthehidden-sentence.com. And there's also a link to the support group, Prison Families Alliance. And you're not alone. No matter what you're going through, you're not alone. Thank you.
All right. All right. Now, this concludes this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series. If you want a plethora of positivity, all you need to do is go to YouTube, type in my name, Jesse Oakley III, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, ring the bell, comment, and share with happy people that you know. And if you want more positive words of wisdom from the past, please go to my YouTube page and click on the Sunday Morning Chat Series link, where you get a chance for me to hear me interview a plethora of positive people like my friend Julia right here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series. Until next time, may you always, always, always have a great day. Bye.